Today I'm going to give a little guided meditation, just a few words here before we start, and I'm inspired on spreading metta. What is metta? Loving kindness. And you can never have too much. Although actually there is a near enemy of loving kindness. It's called narcissism. We can get overly focused on just yourself. And so it is important to spread metta. So as you feel in your system, you're feeling your body, you're aware of metta within yourself, then you radiate it out. Because just as we're working with a seemingly separate sense of self, we want to not be diluted in our metta and keeping it just for ourselves. We need to spread it. We need to share and be generous with our metta. And it is recommended that we start with ourselves, because here we are sitting right at the intersection, mind and body. This is the intersection, and our job is to pay attention in this intersection. So just a few more words before we start as people come in. Whenever we sit with meditation, the first thing we're doing is we're moving from a more coarse way of thinking, coarse focus, like how do I push these buttons and get here and do this and do that, and all these other really kind of coarse ways of living, to something very refined, much, much more soft and refined. We're also moving more from those external considerations to a more internal focus in the body, and removing some, what could be for many people, kind of a harsh inner critic, to something softer, kinder, gentler in our practice. And so I actually think that it is often helpful to start with a sort of spacious and open, just gentle, equanimous, open awareness for a bit with the breath before bringing in metta. Because whenever you're bringing in metta into the mind, we want to say, hi, come on in. Okay? And sometimes your mind is kind of agitated or coarse, and it's just not ready for it. And so the metta can be like, I'm just annoyed by this. This is just annoying me. And it's because you have to pay attention first to the state of mind that you're in, and just be honest and open and spacious about that for a bit, and then introduce metta. Now, not everybody does that. There are many places where they just get you into working with metta right away. But for me, it's been helpful to just be equanimous and open, relax, settle down, and then introduce metta and see how welcome it is. Okay? So please find a comfortable posture, setting aside distractions. And I'll be running this meditation just with guidance. It can be helpful to listen to the voice of another. So we'll be running this until the half-hour mark. And so I'll end it with 2 rings of the bell after my dedication. Okay? So just making any adjustments with your posture, opening to the space of being with others and being with yourself. And just checking your posture so that you're breathing in a way that is really helpful. Like if you bring your hands in close to your belly, it serves two purposes. Number one, you can feel your belly rising and falling. And number two, your shoulders naturally drop down, which opens the front right here, the sternum, allowing the breath to happen more naturally. So just allowing for some open and spaciousness with the body. And just like a bee circles a flower before it comes into the center, we're just inviting the mind to come into the body and feel the breath. And just noticing your relationship with your breath and your body. Is there any pushing away of experience, any resistance, or just notice that really gently. There might be a need for just a little bit of willingness and trust, or perhaps courage to just settle in and take this time. And breathing in long and breathing out long really facilitates a much more apparent relationship with the breath and the body in the beginning here. Noticing how your pattern of breathing is happening. Not judging it, but just noticing and making little adjustments that feel really nourishing. And if it feels forced or like this is a lot of work, there is actually some effort. So if the mind is really busy, you can just notice thinking, thinking, thinking. That helps to focus the mind and know what's happening. And then coming back to the breath, the spacious awareness. If we give the mind some space and some focus, there's a little more cooperation. We're just inviting the nervous system to calm down. Allowing for a sense of innocence and openness. And if the mind is wandering off, you just come back, feeling the breath, perhaps reminding yourself that this is a great gift. Practicing generosity. Now we're going to practice the skill of spreading metta. See if you're open and welcoming of that. If there's any mental proliferation in the mind, then a skillful meditator would take a step back into that spacious and simple connection with just the breath. Allow there to be space and then come back to the metta. Because we don't want to force it. We want to invite it in. Like it's your very best, most trusted friend. So the classic way to begin metta is may I be happy. And this metta has a kind of a warmth and a little joy, a little delight in it. Can you welcome that in? It might actually only touch into the subtle body around you, and that's okay. We're just seeing if we can't welcome in, may I be happy. If there's any reaction that's pushing it away, and just step back into feeling the breath, counting the breath. Sometimes we can first begin to feel some vibrations around metta energy in our fingertips. A visualization for metta would be seeing a newborn baby and just touching their little fingers, wishing them well. This feeling of love and openness to this being. Can you offer that to yourself? You're offering your mind something very kind and generous that's actually part of your true nature. And it invites you to set aside grasping and clinging. So just consider, may I be happy. This is a felt sense. This isn't something to figure out. So if your mind starts to proliferate about it, just notice thinking. See if you can't breathe in a way that's nourishing. And if you found a small part of your body that can feel a little bit of nourishment, Metta is sort of like spreading butter on warm toast. So you can spread it. If you feel a little bit of it in your heart, you can spread a little bit of it down into your torso. Just notice if your focus is a little too tight or too loose. You're trying to find that nice sweet spot in the middle. Spreading metta. There is a sort of active intention here to be generous and to consider this possibility. May I be happy. And if it's too difficult, you can also consider someone else. May this person be happy. And we're just allowing, letting it work in and through with some gentle intention. Now take a moment to radiate if you're feeling some metta or just some open and spacious generosity. Consider how you'd like to share that. There might be someone that you would like to dedicate this practice to. Because sharing it helps you see that all beings would like to be happy, that you're not alone in this. And then before I close, take a moment to evaluate your state now compared to where you were when you first started. You may need to keep the meditation going after the closure. You may feel refreshed and able to move on with your tasks for the day. There may be something important that you did. It's always helpful to just take a moment to review. May we all understand the importance of our lives, meeting inevitable difficulties throughout the day with more patience, kindness, and understanding. May we each cultivate our inner wisdom, self-respect, and compassion to serve as sources of healing in our troubled world. And may we all free our hearts and minds to awaken further each day, little by little.